Joni said last night, a little bit of chuckle yesterday, you didn't know what to expect. So what do you think about the game?
I thought our effort was there. We've got to be smarter in some areas. Got to get our turnovers down. We took some quick shots. That's going to happen when we're playing with pace and trying to figure some things out. So our defense has to be our anchor. We gave up too many points in the paint. We only out-rebounded them by 2. They're a really, really good team. Royce has them ready to go. They've got a lot of veteran starters that have played a ton of minutes. I fully expect them to, do really well in their league. With that being said, we've got to have an identity of being physical, aggressive rebounders and setting the tone defensively. So those are some areas we've got to improve in. A lot of really good things, too. I thought Sid shot it well to get us going. Tanea came in and gave us a boost. McKenzie wreaked havoc on their point guard. So a lot of good things to build on, but there's also some things we've got to get corrected really quickly.
What about start the third quarter? I think a little bit of switch of defense. You take the quick timeout, and for a glimpse there would appear between you didn't shoot the ball particularly well. You forced a lot of turnovers, made it difficult for them. And you said before you got the defense, but I thought that was probably a good stretch for what you wanted to do on both. So if you could speak to that, that point right there.
I would have been a lot happier if we didn't have to call the timeout. But after we call the timeout, things changed. We cannot come out to start the third quarter and be flat, and that's exactly what happened. Yes, they had a different defense, but we knew that could happen. And so to not be ready for that was disappointing, obviously. So good thing is they responded, and it's like I've been saying, our defense needs to generate our offense, and that's what happened for us in the third quarter.
You mentioned about turnovers, but after 3 quarters, you probably had like 11. You said, I expected a lot more after what you said. And I understand coaches sometimes coach speak, but I thought it wasn't that bad through 3 quarters.
Yeah, it got sloppy at the end a little bit. Anything 15 or under would be really good for us, because every time we turn it over, that's a chance we don't have to have a possession on the offensive end of the floor. And as we continue to play and our competition gets tougher, those are opportunities for them to, score or have looks at the basket.
You have 3 underclassmen starting, 2 freshmen and sophomore. But you have Aaliyah Patty, who has played the most on the entire roster. Is having someone like that with such a young roster, kind of like a experienced anchor, what does that do for the team?
Well, I think it gives them confidence. She is the most experienced. With that being said, she still has a different role this year than she's ever had before. She was in the car last year. Now she's being asked to drive the car some, and that's a totally different, level of expectation and responsibility. But again, she does have playing experience. She's one of our most vocal leaders and tries to do that on a consistent basis. So it just gives them some comfort knowing that there's been somebody out there who's played in these games before.
Outscored the Islanders 18-6 in the third quarter. So how important was it to distance yourself for good with the lead and have that kind of performance in the third after overcoming that sluggish start?
Well, they scored 10 in the first or 11 points in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, we gave them 10 points with like 4 minutes left in the quarter. So, to be able to hold them to 6 after them coming out and really dictating tempo, again, it just reiterates that our defense has to be our anchor. And that's who we can be. We have the ability to sub in a lot of different players who can do a lot of different things on both ends of the ball. So really pleased with some of the things we did defensively. We just got to finish it with the box out and not allow people to score in the paint.
Back-to-back three-pointers to start the game, and then 6 of 16 from downtown. So how important is it to incorporate getting hot from deep early on?
Well, I think we do that well, but there's got to be a balance to it also. We've got to establish ourselves in the paint. We've got really good shooters. Ierne shoots it well. Sydney Bowles shoots it well. Sahara shoots it well. Patty and Janiyah can shoot the 3. So we've got people who can shoot the 3. KK Green. Almost all of our guards really can shoot the basketball, but that cannot be – we can't live and die by the 3. We don't want to be that team because we also have an opportunity. Roby was 4 for 5, right? When she gets it in the paint deep, she's a problem, and we've got to identify that more, get her baskets, get her touches more in the paint, and have some, establish ourselves there as well. Whether it's penetration and kick, the ball's got to touch the paint and play inside out.
Seeing Barker for the first time, was she possibly a little bit upset with the early fouls because it seemed like after she settled in, whereas I thought Hilton and Bowles came out and got right after it, but Barker, once it looked like after that, she got over that frustration. Am I wrong about what you saw from her?
Well, I mean, she puts a lot of pressure on herself, and you want a player who puts that kind of pressure on herself, but she also has to understand that she's so dynamic in so many ways. She has so much value, and she doesn't need to put all her pressure on making shots, right? She's a rim protector. She can rim run. She offensive rebounds. So there's other ways that she can bring value. I think when she is in foul trouble, it's hard for her to get into a flow, and once she was able to play some consistent minutes for stretches of time, you're able to see some of the things that she can do.
Everybody had some flashy plays, but Mackenzie Green seemed to make some steady, dependable plays for you possibly to complement your, how would I say, rising stars.
Yeah, she's really trying to take command of our offense and our team. You know, she is someone who can be an elite defender, and that is something we've given her the task of doing. I mean, early into the first quarter, they had to sub out their primary point guard and go with somebody else, and Varela is really good. And so she's somebody who can, you know, really wreak havoc on the defensive end, and then offensively, she needs to run our team, get people in good positions. And again, when she had an opportunity to get to the lane, she got there. When she had an opportunity to catch and shoot three, she was able to do that too. But her running our team is of utmost importance, and I think she's really taken ownership in that, and she's getting better.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.